So now we'll be discussing about the cascading style sheets. So CSS, which means the CSS. So CSS saves a lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. So what is CSS? So the first basic question is, what is CSS? So the cascading style sheets is used to format the layout of the web page. So let's take an example of web page and let's see. So the cascading style sheet will be helping in formatting the web pages, and with the CSS you can control the color, font, and the size or size of the text, the spacing between the elements, and how the elements are positioned and laid out. So what background images we need to use, and what background colors are to be used, different displays for different devices, and depending upon the screen sizes, like if you use on a mobile phone, how does it look like, and if you use it on a desktop, how it looks like. So based on different screen sizes, like how do we show the particular web page is all about this CSS. And there are much more things that we need to explore in the CSS. So the word cascading means that a style applied to a parent element. So when a style is applied to a parent element, it will also be applied to all the children elements with the parent element. So if you set a color of body text to blue in a with to all the headings, paragraphs, and other text elements within the body, will also get the same color. Like if at all you give this, let me just show you with the example. So we have given the color of the background color of the body to be powder blue, but in specifically we have given inside the body, we have given the color of this poem to be a tomato color. So when we just see this display, you can see that everything is having this background as powder blue, but this poem is having the background color to be tomato color. So because until and unless you specify particular color for particular element, everything will be having the property or the style of the parent element. So this is the point that you need to note down. And then, how can we use the CSS to the HTML? Like, how can we add the CSS to the HTML? So, there are three ways in which you can add the CSS to the HTML. First method is inline method. So, by using this, we can add the style attribute inside the HTML elements. We have seen how can you use this inline method, that is using this style attribute, and we have given some of the properties and values. How can we use this, all we have seen in the previous parts. So this is the inline method, that is we just specify the attribute for the starting so this is how you use the inline. You just give this attribute and you give the property and value. And the second method is internal method. In this we use the style element in the head section. So in the internal CSS we use the internal CSS to define the style of for a single HTML page. So the internal CSS is defined at the head, in the head section of the HTML within the a style element. So we'll see how can we use this internal CSS. In the head I am giving we'll just start with a style tag, and we end this style tag, and inside the style tag we give all the styling specifications. Like let's say I want to style my body, so I just give body, and inside the body, like just start with a flower bracket, and inside the flower bracket I want the background color to be powder blue. So we can I'm doing the same thing, like whatever I have done in this inline method, I'm doing the same in the internal method, so that we can just get the comparatively, we can just get a comparative view of the inline and the internal CSS. And then after this we are done with this body part. And then again let's see the next one, which is h1. So in the h1 element we have added our css is like we have given font size and border. So I'll just copy this and paste it over here. So it's the same thing, and then we'll do the same with the other more elements. Like let's say for the h2 we have some of the css, so we can do that by giving h2, and we'll just open and close this flower brackets, and inside the flower brackets we'll give this css, that property and value one. Let's copy this and let's paste it over here. So in this way you can give the styling to all the tags just by giving the tag name, and in the flower brackets you can just give the property and the value for the particular property. So in this way you can use this internal css. So and the third method is external css. So in the external css, in the external style sheet is used to define the style for many html pages. So to use an html external style sheet, we need to add link to it in the head section of the each html page. So I'll just for now I'll comment this out so that there will be no confusion regarding this. So I commented this out, so this will not be displayed again. So this is just for the reading purpose and for the document purpose. And now let's see how can we link the css to our current html document. We can do this by just giving this link with rel equals to style sheet and href equals to, so my css document name is style dot css. So as I've told you, for the html document we use this dot html extension, and for the css we use dot css extension. And after this we have closed the head and we have closed the yeah, we have started the body. So for the link there is no closing tag, so this is how it works. And after this we can just save this, and this and then this external style sheet can be written in any text editor. The file must not contain any html code and must be saved with a .css extension. So let's just go to another new file and let's save it as. So then let's save this, and this is style.css, and here we can give the css. Like for the body I want the background color, so let me just show you. Background color to be, wait, okay, background color to be powder blue. So yeah, and then again we want the h1, that is header, first heading to be color blue, let's say blue. And then we have many more elements where we have added this styling and all. We can add all of them here in the separate document. The major advantage of this is we can have a separate document for styling and separate one for the html one, so we can just link them. That's okay. Like if there is any error or any mistake, we can just correct them very easily if we have two different documents, and we can just go for this css document for all the styling changes. And if you have any changes in the text or any html, we can go to this .html document for the changes in that. So that will be more flexible for the people who just make this web pages and all. So in the p, let's say I want it to be color red, and even we can add the background color and many more things, many more properties are there in this and in this. Okay, let me just make it to be tomato in this css. So we can just add all these properties and we can make our web page look more beautiful to visitors, and also more visibly better than having the plain text. So this is of this style how we can add this css to the html. So for now, let me just use the inline method for this particular topic. So I'll just save this and I'll just comment out this one also, uh, because I will use the inline method to show you the further things in the CSS. Yeah. So then, now the most preferred way is you can use this external CSS method. And for now, as we are doing this, like I'll just tell you about few of the properties of CSS. Um, we'll just have some demonstration about this. First one is the CSS color property, which we have seen here, which will change the text of the particular element to the color specified. And we have even discussed about the font family, which we have used, and also we which defines the property, with the property which defines the font to be used. And we have used the font size, so we can change the font size. In the h1 we have used this font size one. And also we have used the in the CSS border, so the border of what pixels and what color we have used it. And now we'll see about CSS padding. So the padding property defines a padding, like the space between the text and the border. So how much space should be there between the text and the border that you give is called as padding. So we can do the padding. I'll just give padding to the h1 element only. Let's give it quickly. Padding. So we have padding top, padding right, padding bottom, padding left, which means like the spaces in the upper part, in the lower part, in the sides and all. So the padding will be of, let's say I want the padding to be 25 pixels. And let's save this and let's go to our web page and let's see. So here you can see the padding changed. So this is the distance between the text and the border of your particular element. And then we'll even see about the CSS margin. CSS margin property defines a margin, that is the space outside the border. So outside the border, how much space we need to leave. We'll even do that. Let's say we'll just go choose one paragraph and we'll see that. So let me say I want to give margin to this paragraph. Firstly, I'll give border. My border will be, okay, firstly I'll just give the style attribute, that is equals to border. Border will be, let's say it is 2 pixel, and it's, let it be the color to be green. And then will even add the margin to this. Margin will be, let's say I want my margin to be 40 pixels. So this is my margin. And let's now save this and see what all changes will it make to our web page. So we got this from, and here you can see there are gaps between this and this. We have got this 40 pixels gap. So this is how this particular CSS margin will work. So these are all the properties of CSS, and this is how you can link the CSS to HTML. So we have discussed about the properties like border, padding, margin, and also have to link your CSS to HTML, like inline method, internal CSS, external CSS, and all. And this is how like we learned. These are all the things that we have learned in this particular topic of CSS and HTML.